Alright, here we go. Are we seriously getting a Star Wars crawl at the beginning of this movie? There's Salma Hayek. There's Kumail.
I'm Icarus.
Oh, his name's Icarus. All right, when I saw Icarus in the trailer, I thought he just looked so much like Sebastian Stan. Mesopotamia. I'm glad middle school history taught me that.
Got shot.
Oh my gosh. He's like Homelander. I swear that guy's Wong. There's Angelina Jolie.
Thank you, Ajax.
Oh, okay, so Salma's playing the Prime Eternal.
I know I'm late, Charlie.
Nestles the seed perfection.
Isn't that, that's Kit Harington, right? Dude, the screen is, like, shaking. What is happening right now? This is, like, really annoying.
Earthquake.
Oh, was that supposed to happen? Oh, was the rumbling, like, the shaking actual part of the movie? I thought it was just Disney Plus being screwy. Also, why the heck I feel like the ratio is changing. Am I going insane, or is the ratio changing? Wait, it's still shaking. Oh, maybe it is Disney Plus. I don't know. I have no fucking clue anymore. I don't think it's the movie. Look, the ratio changed again! You're driving me insane, movie! I need to record this, like now, because, like, I need to record the screen and actually show you guys what I'm talking about, because if I just said this, I don't think you would actually believe me. And I'm not seeing any shaking anymore, but, I mean, it was there. Look, I swear it was there, alright? I'm not going... My eyes are not fucking broken, alright? Can't even focus on, like, the first 10 minutes of the movie, because I don't even know... Is this the way the movie's supposed to be? Or it's, like, Disney Plus just being screwy? I'm just gonna have to tolerate it as best as I can. Okay, so I saw the water moving, and I'm assuming we're gonna have a fight right here.
Dane?
Here we go.
Something's happening to Earth. Can't be a coincidence.
We need to find the others.
Let's go to Ajax first. She'll know what to do.
I'm sorry. I have not been able to absorb, like, anything of what was happening. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with, like, these weird technical difficulties. But, like, it's just not, like... I have no, like, stake. I have no investment in this whatsoever. I have no idea what's going on. I don't care. This is probably, like, the Marvel movie that I've been, like, the least excited for in what has been a really, really long time. Like, even with these action scenes right now, like, it's not exciting in any way. It's just big, dumb CGI monster battles.
Do not become attached to this planet. You must focus on the true purpose of your mission.
I will not let you down.
Mimasha Datua, Iltina Patani, Mimulu Halikani, Lashahat Shiran, La Tarak, and Pishtam Shaka Bakun.
I guess this is the deaf Eternal I've been hearing about. I still have no idea what this movie's about. Like, so far all I've gathered is that like those two are in a relationship, or were in a relationship. She's now thinking about moving in with this guy, and they apparently have some mission from, like, their master Erisham, and they have to protect the world from deviants. That's all I've gathered so far.
You are very beautiful, Cersei.
Bro, she's with another guy now. This is, like, the only thing I actually understand. What are you doing?
I'm yours, Cersei.
Oh my god. She's with Kit Harington, goddamn. What are you doing? Am I missing something? She's with that other guy, right? I'm pretty sure, like, I got that from what I've seen in this movie so far. Oh, is this the sex scene that everybody's been going crazy about? Like the first sex scene that they've shown in the MCU? I really wish I had a shred of investment towards this relationship. Oh wait, no, that was in 575 BC, right? Wasn't that? Yeah, it's present day now. See, that shows you how little of the movie I'm absorbing. I'm like forgetting like chunks and pieces. This is the problem with jumping back and forth in movies. It's that the structure starts getting very confusing. I start to forget what I'm watching. Like if I'm watching a scene from the past or if I'm watching a scene from the present.
It was a deviant.
Okay, so Cersei is the new Prime Eternal, I guess?
Don't. We don't interfere in their wars.
Are you okay?
Your mind is fracturing under the weight of your memories. And all I can do is erase them.
Oh god, I have no idea what's happening right now.
It ends now.
Okay, so he's interfering. Dude, I'm telling you, that guy looks like Sebastian Stan. This is honestly like the most exciting scene that you've shown me so far.
Ajax dead.
She was killed. It was a deviant. The deviants are back. We don't know how many there are. You need to come with us.
God, I was really not looking forward to this movie. And now I know why. Oh, okay, I got a BTS song.
I thought we were friends.
I really wish you could actually, like, show me something that, like, shows me that they're friends. Instead of just telling me and expecting me to, like, believe it and buy into this relationship. I seriously don't care about any of these, like, characters or their relationships to one another right now.
I'm Karun, Kingo's valet. Like Alfred in Batman.
The fact that they reference the DC universe and the Marvel universe is really kind of fucking with my head right now.
So now that Captain Rogers and Iron Man are both gone, who do you think's gonna lead the Avengers?
Sam Wilson, that's who.
You were sent to Earth to bring forth the celestial Tiamat. Every billion years, new celestials must be born.
I wish I knew, like, anything that these guys were talking about. I have no idea what any of this stuff means.
The planet Earth was chosen to host the celestial Tiamat. It is time for the emergence to begin.
So they're wiping out the Earth?
Everyone on Earth will die.
I'm sorry, I keep zoning out because there's nothing remotely engaging about this movie. I don't know anything about the characters. I have no idea what the plot is. Nothing's funny. These scenes are dragging out too long. The structure is confusing. I'm actually trying really hard to focus right now and try and absorb what's happening. But honestly, like an hour has passed. Like, it's been an hour. Yeah, we're at the 1 hour mark exactly. And I still feel like I haven't watched even a little bit of this movie.
Ajax has chosen you to take her place. Do not fail me.
There has to be a way Tiamat can emerge without destroying the Earth.
Could Druid control its mind? Maybe put it to sleep?
I've missed all of you. Make yourselves at home. Do you all remember?
Yo, that's me right. That was me right there.
Beautiful. Kingo, the movie star.
I've directed some things too.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Some internet content.
Not funny, man. Not funny. Oh god, I hate this movie. Oh, it's so boring. I have no idea what's going on.
So excuse me for not giving a shit about your plan right now.
I don't give a shit about their plan right now. God, I've never struggled this much to get through a Marvel movie. We still have an hour and a half left. Oh my god. How do I want this to be over already?
Come on. You know who you are. You're Athena, goddess of war.
Is this supposed to be like Athena, like the Greek goddess? The goddess of wisdom and battle? Is that what this is is that what her character is based on?
Dane? You're breaking up.
You're breaking up?
Oh, you scumbag.
There's something I...
Yeah, we really do need action sequences. It's the only remotely exciting thing that's happening in this movie.
No. Terrible timing, Thina. A little help here.
Stay here. Say it.
She's gonna kill him. What, she turned into a tree? Is Gilgamesh gonna die here? Yeah, he's dead. He's gotta be dead, right? Okay, so it's absorbing his power.
I will kill you all for what you have done to my kind.
No.
I'll remember.
Oh my god. Okay, anyways. Okay, so we have an hour left. Just one more hour sitting through this. And then we get to the credits, and then I just watch probably one or two short post-credit scenes, and it's over. This is so fucking painful, dude. Nothing is engaging in the slightest. I can hardly follow the plot. They keep jumping from time period to time period. I don't care about any of the characters. This is such a bad movie, dude. This is like getting this is like a 2 out of 10. If I had to grade it right now, it's like a 2 out of 10. The only reason it's not like a 1 is because I don't think it's the most worthless piece of shit movie I've ever seen in my life. That's the only reason it's not a 1. It's a 2.
To take control of a mind of a celestial. I do not have that kind of power.
We'll need Fastos.
He gave up on humans a long time ago.
These people... they're not worth saving.
Oh, that's great, man.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All right, ready? Go.
And now we're back to present day.
Daddy, watch this. That's Superman. Dad, that's Superman.
Jack,
They're referencing DC character, a different universe in this. Oh my god, that's so weird, dude. You can't reference another universe of superheroes in this universe of superheroes.
No, I'm sorry. You can't just show up in my life and expect me to go with you. I'm not gonna...
Go, Habibi.
You want me to go?
But if there's a chance for us to watch Jack grow up and live a life of his own, we should take it.
Oh yeah, they also mentioned like having a gay couple or something, right? Forgot about that. My boredom isn't ending.
If I can find a way to connect us all, one of us could become immensely powerful, pulling the accumulated energy from the rest, forming a unimind.
I'm not who you think I am.
This planet and these people have changed me.
I suspected you might have changed your mind. I can't let you betray Arisham.
All I've gathered so far is that this, I can't remember, Icarus killed Ajax. That's all I got from like the past like 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. and the deviants, I guess, absorbed her energy or her power or whatever and spread it to the other deviants. This guy really did look like Homelander there for a second. That really made him look like Homelander.
I'm in love with you, Cersei.
If you say I love you too, I'm gonna out. Oh my god, I'm gonna out you. I'm gonna out you. You're dating Kit Harington, motherfucker.
Started.
The emergence started.
Find the point of emergence. I'm close to figuring it out.
What have you done?
You killed her.
I had to.
You are so pathetic!
I'm an eternal, Fastos. I exist for Arisham. He won't succeed against me. And I will kill every one of you if I have to.
Wait. I'm going with you.
Okay, so from what I've gathered, they're trying to stop the emergence, but then there are some Eternals among them, like Icarus, that are loyal to the mission that Arishem set out for them, and Icarus is trying to stop them. God, I really wish I cared even a little bit. You have not given me enough between these characters to make me feel something about this betrayal. It is so bad, dude. This is so bad. This is just bad, all right? It's a bad movie, all right? It's so dull. It doesn't even feel like there's any life to this movie. It's like it's not even trying. No scene has been funny, at least like intentionally.
I still have faith in Arisham, but I refuse to hurt any of you for my beliefs.
Kingo is, I guess he's just abandoning them.
I hope to see you on the next planet.
Is he gonna come back like at the end and like help? Like they're about to be defeated by Icarus, but then Kingo comes back and helps them turn the tide? Is that what's about to happen?
The sphere inside of you, maybe I can repurpose it and create a connection between, well, all of us. And that can activate the Unimind.
It's time to put a god to sleep.
I should have done this 5 centuries ago.
What was that? What was that cry? They remind me of Power Rangers right now with their outfits. Like the multicolored outfits. Look, she's wearing green. Look. Icarus is wearing blue. The deaf speed girl is wearing red.
I have to try and stop this. Keep Icarus busy.
We've got you.
You're not powerful enough to do this. And you won't.
I'm sorry, what?
You're not a killer.
Maybe I've changed.
I thought she was dead. Oh.
I'm sorry, Cersei. It's all over now. We get to start over somewhere new.
Are you serious? That's how they beat her? By hitting her over the head with a rock? A fucking rock? Oh god, dude. This movie. These, like, invincible beings can survive, like, the worst injuries, but then they can just get incapacitated with a blow to the back of the head with a rock.
Remember.
Oh shit. I do remember.
I remember.
Okay. He's not going to be able to do it because he loves her. Oh, okay, so now he's helping them. All right, whatever. Yay! They stopped the emergence! Yay! They did the Unimind thing and all worked together to stop the emergence! Hooray! Oh god, please, I just want this to be over. I'm tempted to just skip to the end. 10 more minutes. Just 10 more minutes and we're done. The hell is he gonna do? He's gonna kill himself in the sun? Oh my god, he really is. Okay.
The sudden appearance of an enormous stone figure in the Indian Ocean has left more questions than...
So, Dad said you're the goddess Athena.
She is Athena.
Drop the A.
She gonna move into his place?
What is it?
Turns out my family history is complicated.
Oh, well, what is he? Is this Arishem? Or something? Yep. She dead.
You have chosen to sacrifice a celestial for the people of this planet. Your memories will show if they are worthy to live, and I will return for judgment.
Please tell me there's not a sequel. Oh my god, if there's a sequel where he returns for judgment, I'm gonna lose it. Well, that was fucking awful. The post-credit scene.
Behold, the royal prince of Titan, brother of Thanos, the great adventurer, Star Fox.
I forgot he was in this movie. Oh my god. I forgot he does acting too. Holy shit.
Who are you?
Oh my god. That's Harry Styles.
I'm Eros.
Isn't Eros like the god of love or something? Like it's another name for Cupid? Alright, let's skip the credits. There's another one. That was honestly the most enjoyable part of the movie.
Sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitney?
No, no, they will not return. Oh no, dude. Who is that at the end? Oh, it's finally over. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I feel like I've been watching this all day. Okay, so it's pretty clear that I didn't like this movie. I'm just going to set the record straight right now and say that I think Eternals is the worst MCU movie ever. Yes, turns out the rumors are true. This is the worst MCU movie. It was worse than Thor: The Dark World. It was worse than Iron Man 2. And yes, it was even worse than The Incredible Hulk. The thing is, with those movies, despite how pointless, boring, or stupid they might be, they're still somewhat engaging, no matter how minimal that engagement is. Whether that's because of the charisma of the lead actors, or because of how hilariously stupid the content of the movie is, I can still pay attention enough to absorb most of what's happening on screen. But with Eternals, I was running into a problem that I had never encountered before in the MCU. For the first time in watching all of the MCU movies, and I know this because I just recently rewatched a lot of the MCU movies, I could hardly absorb anything that was happening on screen because of how uninteresting, slow, and boring it all was. Now, granted, I kind of expected this sort of thing to happen. When I saw all those Eternals trailers coming out before the movie actually released, I remembered thinking that this was the first Marvel movie that I actually had no interest in seeing based on what I saw in the trailer. This movie did not catch my eye, it did not pique my interest, it did not hook me in the slightest, so I was already going into this movie beforehand thinking that I wouldn't like it. And I don't like doing that. I try to go into every movie with no expectations, and even if I have seen some of the feedback, I try to ignore everything I've heard and act like I'm seeing it completely blind, because whether that feedback is good or bad, it's more than likely going to end up playing some factor into my opinion if I don't ignore it. And I really tried to give this movie a chance. I pretty much watched this movie a second time during editing when I was getting clips of the movie to put into the reaction portion of this video, and even then, it still didn't change how I felt about the movie. This movie is just bad. But before we get into all the bad stuff, I feel like we should at least talk about some of the good stuff. Alright, let's see, the visuals weren't bad. I think that's all the good things in the movie. Okay, on to the bad stuff. Let's start with the plot. The Eternals reunite and stop Tiamat from waking. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with a simple narrative, but the thing with these kinds of plots is that you need something else to fill the time. You can't really rely on the story alone to take up most of the runtime. And Eternals is a 2.5-hour movie, so you're going to need a lot of other stuff, and good stuff at that, to justify this runtime with the very simple plot that you have. So what does this movie spend most of its time on? Well, mainly exposition and character development, and it's not done well at all. To start, we get this big info dump at the beginning of the movie with this Star Wars title crawl. Now, this actually isn't bad. Starting the movie off with some background information is actually necessary because this movie has a lot to explain to its audience. But then it just starts utilizing all these flashbacks to give more context to the story and these characters, and soon we find ourselves spending minimal time on the actual conflict and more time on these flashbacks that set up the conflict. I honestly feel like most of this movie was just explaining things. What exactly the Eternals and the Deviants are and what purpose they serve on Earth, how emergences work, what happens after each emergence, why Athena goes crazy sometimes, what the mindsets are in some Eternals. And like I said before, I know this movie can't really rely on its main conflict of getting all the Eternals back together so they can stop Tiamat to fill up a 2.5-hour movie. But the stuff that it does spend its time on really isn't that interesting in comparison. Every time we got away from the main story of reuniting the Eternals so they could prevent Tiamat from waking, and we got to the flashbacks or had scenes expositing information, I just got really bored really fast. Speaking of those flashbacks, this leads to another problem, and that's the story structure. This constant jumping back and forth between the past and the present can be pretty confusing, and there were times when I would actually forget we were in a flashback, and that led to some pretty confusing moments, like the flashback showing Cersei and Icarus falling in love. And speaking of Cersei and Icarus's relationship, this feels like a pretty good time to move on to the character development in this movie, or at least what passes for character development in this movie. Let's start with Cersei and Icarus. Not only is their chemistry not very believable, but I honestly can't name you a whole lot of qualities about Cersei or Icarus or any of the other Eternals for that matter. I just watched this movie and I still feel like I know almost nothing about these characters. All I know about Cersei is that these two guys love her and she was the prime Eternal after Ajax died. That's not really a whole lot for me to sink my teeth into, and she's like the main character. Oh, sorry, I forgot. She's also a school teacher. Yeah, she's a real compelling protagonist, alright. Icarus is in love with Cersei and believes in Ereshem's cause. And that's it. That's his entire character. He almost has like the Superman problem. You know how a lot of people say that they think Superman is really boring? How they just don't really like Superman because he's just not an interesting hero at all? I think a lot of people have this opinion, myself included. From what I've seen in my lifetime on Superman, which is primarily the DCEU films, he just comes across as a really boring character. I feel like his character doesn't go any further than being in love with Lois Lane and saving people. I know this isn't the case in the comics and he's actually an interesting character there, but as a person who's not a big comics guy, I was never really able to see that. Anyways, I feel like Icarus is kind of like Superman in that their characters are almost solely motivated by their love interests, which isn't great. Also, I feel like as long as we're on the topic of Superman, it's worth bringing something else up, which might actually explain why I don't like this movie so much. I remember when this movie came out, I saw a piece of news that I found interesting, and then when I actually watched this movie months later, I couldn't help but think how similar this movie felt stylistically to Man of Steel. And that's when I remembered the news that I saw before. Now, yes, I probably just subconsciously remembered this piece of information instead of actually figuring it out for myself, but you can't help but notice the similarities, from Icarus having the same qualities as Zack Snyder's Superman, to some of the shots being the same, to some of the characters literally talking about the DC universe in the Marvel universe, which I'm not going to try and make sense of anymore because otherwise I'll have an aneurysm. But the similarities to Man of Steel probably explains why I didn't like this movie so much, because I didn't really like Man of Steel. But back to the characters, we have Athena and Gilgamesh, who don't have personality traits other than Gilgamesh just being really strong and Athena going rogue every now and again, which is why Gilgamesh volunteered to look after her. Now, the big problem I have with these two is that their relationship is not fleshed out well at all. I mentioned before how I didn't really find Cersei and Icarus's relationship believable, but that is still nothing compared to Athena and Gilgamesh. At least with Cersei and Icarus, we got flashbacks showing us fragments, albeit very brief fragments of their relationship. But with Athena and Gilgamesh, we get almost nothing showing us their relationship or how important they are to each other. I remember like one scene they had together, but the conversation is so unengaging that I couldn't even be bothered to pay attention. This whole movie's just really unengaging. I think I missed like half the conversations between the characters because I just really didn't care about them or anything they were talking about. What would have been great is if you had shown us some bonding moments between Athena and Gilgamesh in all that time between Gilgamesh deciding to be Athena's caretaker and the Eternals arriving at Gilgamesh's place to recruit him and Athena to prevent Tiamat from waking. You had millennia's worth of relationship you could have shown us in order to get the audience to care about this relationship between Gilgamesh and Athena. But all you show us is like this one conversation between them where they just tell us how Gilgamesh took care of Athena for so many years. Why don't you actually show us their relationship instead of telling us about it? This is made so much worse too by the fact that Gilgamesh dies by a deviant later on in the movie, and you see this scene of Athena mourning over his dead body, and you can tell it's supposed to be like this big emotional moment, but it's not hard hitting at all because you didn't show us enough of their relationship to get us to buy into it. This problem of them telling rather than showing actually permeates throughout this entire film, if we're being honest. Sprite mentioning to Kingo on the plane how she thought they were friends, even though I don't think they showed a single scene between the two to show that they actually had a relationship. Ajax telling Icarus that she had seen this earth and its people laugh and love, create and dream, and that it changed her perspective on Ereshem's mission, even though we never got a scene where Ajax saw this, so we just have to take her word for it. This movie has a really bad habit of relying on character dialogue to develop characters and relationships, as opposed to actually showing us scenes developing these characters and their relationships. Who else is there? Who's left? Ajax, Druig, Makari, Sprite, Kingo, and Phastos. Let's just do this quick because you don't really need a lot of time to describe each of them. Ajax is the leader and exists to make Icarus the bad guy. Druig is the conflicted one who knows he can use his mind control powers to help the people of Earth but is not allowed to interfere. Makari is deaf and fast. Sprite is everlastingly young, a master of illusion, and is jealous of Cersei because Icarus loves her. Kingo is a vlogger and believes in Ereshem. There's also this one point in the movie where Kingo just leaves, and I thought it was setting up for him eventually returning during the final battle and helping, but nope, he just ups and leaves, and we don't see him again until the very end of the movie. Phastos has a son to get back to, and he builds stuff. He also has a moment where he doesn't really believe in humanity anymore, but this movie resolves it so quickly, it's almost completely pointless. Now, the reason why I went through the rest of the Eternals rather quickly is mainly because I feel like there's not really much else to say about them, besides what I just said. Their characters are so paper thin that if they weren't in the movie at all, I honestly don't think it would change much. Truthfully, the only characters you really need in this movie are Cersei, Icarus, Ajax, and Ereshem, and maybe Phastos so he can come up with the Unimind solution. The other characters really don't serve a purpose in the big picture of helping or stopping Tiamat from waking, depending on what side of Ereshem's mission they were on. They really just felt like they were there for the Unimind, and that was it. I always felt like the others were kind of just doing their own thing, and usually it really didn't matter a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, so their inclusion in the movie kind of felt pointless. Speaking of characters that felt pointless, let's talk about I don't know, I guess you could call him the secondary villain, this deviant, Crow. I have no idea what the fuck the point of him was. He just shows up, says he's going to kill the Eternals for what they did to his fellow deviants, and then he just gets thrown into a cave and killed. His inclusion was truly baffling to me because it did nothing for this movie. If you want to say he exists to give Athena a moment of redemption for Gilgamesh's death, that's probably going to be your best argument, but even after getting redemption, what the hell did it do for Athena? It was just okay, I got my caretaker's murderer, and that was it. It didn't affect or do anything for Thena afterwards. Also, the fact that I didn't buy into Thena and Gilgamesh's relationship probably explains why I didn't really care for Thena getting redemption on Crow, so Crow's inclusion really just felt completely pointless. And this is the problem with a movie like this that introduces too many characters and tries to flesh them all out from the ground up in one movie. The difference in other Marvel movies with multiple heroes, like Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy, is that they either got a lot of the character development done in prior movies, or they don't introduce so many characters that they can't juggle everybody at once. So let's see, we talked about the premise, exposition, characters, what else? I didn't like the pacing. Like I've been saying, I was really bored and unengaged throughout this entire movie. This movie just goes really slow with only very limited amounts of fast-paced action. So much of this movie is just the characters talking with each other, which is fine. I'm not saying that every movie needs to have action in it to be exciting. A character study movie like Joker has almost no action in it, yet I was enthralled and captivated the entire time. But that's the thing, if you want your movie to focus on your characters, which Eternals clearly tried to do, you better make your characters pretty interesting and captivating, and this movie just did not do that. As a result, so many of these scenes just dragged, and for a movie that was 2.5 hours long, that just made things miserable. So,
let's just recap.
At the end of the day, this movie's plot was unengaging, the structure was messy and confusing, the characters were not interesting, the character development was minimal, the pacing was bad, this movie goes too slow, it's too long, some things in this movie were just completely unnecessary, this movie wasn't funny, the whole thing just felt pointless in the context of the rest of the MCU, and overall, this was just a miserable experience that very much earned it the title of the worst MCU film to date. And the worst part of all of this is that it's not even over. So in the end, we're going to give Eternals a 9 out of 10. Merry fucking Christmas.